Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we, of course, are starting. And this is the Osasu Show Symposium. And I, of course, want to welcome us especially. The theme for this event is the new economy and the impact on the less privileged citizens. It is only apt that at this point, we agree generally that Nigerian, especially the less privileged in our society, require attention from government, but government also paying the right attention requires the people to dialogue. So together, Your Excellencies, we have today both the people who are requiring this education and information and those who take the decisions in one hall. And this is because of the strength of this wonderful lady, Osasu Igbenedion. I think we can clap for her some more. So to begin, we will hopefully want to have a little understanding and insight into why we are gathered here today and begin to look at the framing speech for today. It will prepare us for the things that will happen. And so to begin, Your Excellencies, let's welcome the Country Director for Amnesty International to set the stage for these discussions today. Let's welcome Mrs. Osai Ojigo. Please put your hands together for her.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, all protocols duly observed. Nigeria's journey to securing human rights and dignity for all by 2030 should be our guide in terms of how we want to see the future of our Nigeria. The Nigerian Constitution embodies our fundamental human rights, and our laws further entrench the full gamut of human and people's rights as contained in the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. But despite these laws, frameworks, the reality in Nigeria today is a mixed bag. And I would like to leave you with a few words from Nelson Mandela in terms of how we as a nation can move forward and how we address these issues of tapping the economy for all. He said, overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. It is the protection of a fundamental human right, the right to dignity and a decent life. While poverty persists, there is no true freedom. And so, as we go through our discussions today, my question is, how are we using our position, our power differently to ensure that every human being, every citizen of Nigeria can fully experience a life of dignity and enjoy their fundamental human rights? I thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, can we clap a little more? I will not directly be introducing our convener and host, but I'll invite one man who also is a motivational speaker, is a life coach, a leadership expert, and one who believes in content and character. Let's welcome the president and founder of Guardians of the Nation International, Dr. Linus Okori. Please put your hands together for him.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's celebrate and bring to this podium the young person that is adding great value to our great country, Osasu Igbenedion.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every single one of you here to the Osasu Show's Mating Symposium. I am truly humbled by the individuals cut across all walks of life that I see here today. Your presence is both a valid endorsement and a testimony of your faith in our work and commitment to creating a bridge between our citizens and leaders. We are immensely grateful. Thank you. As a child, I read so many books about great men and women in various fields, from politics to entrepreneurship to leadership and even sports. I learned two major lessons from their stories. First is their sacrifice and courage. A great man once said, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." I personally found this to be true because I had to give up a seemingly conventional life to venture into one where I could possibly blaze a trail. I also learned that failure is a decision, because great people don't fail. They either succeed or learn. We all know the stories of J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter fame, Thomas Edison and the light bulb invention, or even our dear President, Muhammadu Buhari. The lesson is, if one truly believes in a cause and is passionate enough to pursue it, quitting is never an option. Even at that age, I aspired to be in a position where I could serve humanity. Most importantly, give a voice to the voiceless and the less privileged. That inspiration of mine was what led to my career path as a journalist, and ultimately the birth of the Osasu show. Our mission on the show has always been an unwavering connection of our people and narratives on matters that affect our common destiny, as Nigerians, as Africans. You see, I believe that the journalists of any nation are the gatekeepers of her democracy, and whether a nation succeeds or fails greatly depends on the sacrifices her journalists are willing to make. I also know that in my efforts to elicit faithful responses from my guest on the show, I am sometimes hard on them, especially though when it comes to issues affecting the general populace. So let me use this opportunity to thank each and every single one of you who have been on the receiving end of my questions for your patience, your understanding, and your steadfast support. You see, when I began the show, we started off as just a talk show, but we've since graduated to an online television network and a foundation dedicated to connecting people and transforming lives. In 2015, when I began the show, I made a decision to work closely with the internally displaced people to amplify their calls to government officials and well-meaning Nigerians to come to their assistance. Subsequently, in 2016, my crew and I made a decision to march into the heart of the violent situation in Agatu local government area of Benue State during the infamous Headsmen massacre. The chaos and devastation my crew and I witnessed was overwhelming. It was unprecedented, and it left us in so much grief and despair. Our investigative missions have also taken us to southern Kaduna, Goska and Dangoma to be precise, Ogoni Land in Rivers State, Ogbia Federal Constituency in Bayelsa State, Ungogo Local Government in Kano State, amongst other volatile regions both home and abroad. But when we look back at the impact we've made through the show and its foundation, we're encouraged to do even more and take more risk. I can see my dad is not smiling about that. But children have been sent to school. The impoverished lives of women and their families have been changed through direct empowerment. Shelters have been built for the homeless and makeshift classrooms for the IDPs. All this in a span of 2 years. So yes, God has been faithful, and I thank each and every single one of you here for your support. Still, we must and can do more collectively. In the famous words of boxing legend Muhammad Ali, service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. This is why we're here today, to deliberate and devise a means through which we can do more. The theme of today's symposium is the new economy and its impact on less privileged citizens. This gives us an opportunity to discuss some of the prevailing challenges facing Nigerians. You see, the new economy has brought disruption marked by rapid digitization. It represents an emerging vision for a just, sustainable, and democratic future. In Nigeria, we could look at the term new economy from the shocks arising from the prolonged economic recession and its impact on lower income and vulnerable citizens in society. This goes beyond online payment of bills and selling of products on the internet to engaging with the intangible world of business as a whole. The government has put in place social safety nets to cater to the unemployed through state-run schemes. But the question remains, is this enough for the emerging new economy? How sustainable is this in the long run? Are there better ways of engaging the unemployed populace? These and many more questions will form part of our panel discussions today. Our aim is to create a common framework that would guide our policy and lawmakers in decision making. But I'll let the keynote speaker talk to us about that in more details. Finally, I would be failing in my duty as a patriotic Nigerian if I do not use this very opportunity to call for much needed national unity. You see, I understand that emotions are high in several parts of the country and we are treading through very sensitive terrain. But one thing I know for sure about us as a people is that what binds us together far surpasses that which attempts to divide us. Therefore, let me use this opportunity to appeal to our leaders here present and those watching to keep preaching peace. Keep working in earnest for the unity of our dear nation. To my fellow countrymen and women, I also urge us not to give up on Nigeria. We are in this for better and for worse, in sickness and in health, in recession and in economic bloom. We will remain united until we make Nigeria truly great. In the mantra of FRCN, we are good people. We are a great nation. I wish us all a fruitful deliberation. God bless you all for coming out, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'll start by mentioning that the ongoing recession in the Nigerian economy weighs more heavily on the less privileged citizens. According to the World Bank statistics, poverty rate in Nigeria stands as 53.3%, and that is about 103 million people. And the index that measures inequality, called the Gini index, stands at 48.8, above the global average at 40. This highlights the need to start thinking about innovative interventions around SMEs and labor-absorptive sectors in order to record quick wins in poverty alleviation. The current Nigerian government has set new priorities for achieving inclusive growth, as contained in the recent Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. These are my brief points to motivate the discussions today, and I thank you for your attention.
I'll start with one question to my very esteemed panel. Let me pretend to be Fatima Olushola Chibweke. I live in the village. I'm not here, I can't speak English. How do I feel your presence through the work that you do?
For our effort in the campaign, we have attracted almost 2 billion naira by direct sales to the average Aba person in terms of production of military shoes and all those kind of things.
If we want to address poverty, one critical element is infrastructure. It serves as stimulus to address poverty. Talking about infrastructure and how infrastructure serves as stimulus to drive development, you need to look at the issue of good transportation network. Economic activities very often takes place in a different location from where the demands for those services are needed.
We have commenced construction of the Lagos-Ibadan, and the contract was 36 months. I told the gentleman he must finish December 2018. We have signed a new contract that 2018 December, they will finish and deliver to us, and we will start commercial activities on that track. The President has also currently approved new railway lines that he has asked us to go and look for loans.
If you listen to the speakers, they talked about borrowing, credit, loan. It is our generation that would pay for that. We hear about approval. We hear about release. But what we don't hear is what are those concrete impacts this approval and release are making on the ground.
When you conduct a census here now, how many people are eligible to vote? I want to believe that everybody here is above 18. When you are eligible to vote, it is a huge power in your hand to determine how you are governed. I do not see any other way you can hold a government responsible or accountable than that power of the ballot.
At this point, there are so many youth without employment. At that time, you were in school, you were receiving an education. Once you come out of school, you go to NYSC. Once you come out of NYSC, you have a job. That is not the situation of most youth today. How don't you expect youth who are hungry on the street to collect money from politicians to go and protest when they have nothing to fall back on?
Nigerians, we always ask questions, but we've not been able to ask the right questions to move actions at the grassroots level. I'll leave you with one thing. I'm a young man. Do we have equal right and opportunity as we sit on this table? Thank you.
The activists.
When you speak the truth, you die. When you lie, you die. So it's better to speak the truth and die. I may sound very unpopular this afternoon, but I will speak the truth. Apart from militocracy, politics is responsible for poverty and hunger in Nigeria. Unfortunately, we the leaders, myself inclusive, have failed this nation and have failed the younger generations. Myself inclusive. When I was a member of the House of Reps, I moved a motion that sons and daughters of all political office holders or all politically exposed persons, from councillor to president, should attend public school. That motion was not seconded. It died. Because if the son of a governor, of a senator, is attending a public school, who will fix the schools? So the issue of poverty is self-created. The only way to fight poverty is for we leaders of this country to build trust among the people. How do you build trust? Today, if there is a policy statement banning the use of generators everywhere, including the villa, when there's no light or electricity in Aso Rock, there should be no electricity in Yanya. When there's no light in Lugbe, there should be no light anywhere. The citizens will develop confidence. We must build public trust. Public trust will end hunger. Public trust will create wealth. And this agitation today for Biafra, for West, for this, is as a result of hunger and unemployment. Take care of hunger and unemployment, there will be no agitation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, can she get a microphone?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chema. My comment goes to everyone who's ever held office in this room. Which of the former elected officials in this room can sit down or can stand up actually in this room and account for the monies they've received over the 4 years or over the 8 years that they served as governors, as senators, as members of the House of Representatives, as anything? So I think it's mighty rich of us to talk about taking care of poor people. I think that it's mighty rich of us to talk about, use all the buzzwords, sound nice, raise the applause and things like that. But really, what are we doing? You talked about and I'm talking to Senator Dino Melaye, you talked about raising on the floor of the House children of elected officials going to school in Nigeria. And so the question becomes, post that, what did you do after that? It's not enough to come and use that as some sort of, flag. I tried this and it didn't work. But what else have you done since then?
So listen carefully. An airport with an MRO, an ICT science park, a seaport at the Baka, a 5-star hotel with an international golf course, a 191 megawatt power station, schools, markets, hospitals, housing estates, a Greek project that put unemployed graduates back to being self-employed by establishing their own little poultry, a piggery, even water leaf farm, banana and plantain plantations. That is what I did with the people's money. Go and ask Akwa Ibom people and they'll tell you that.
Nigerians are good at pointing fingers, but Nigerians do not look inward to see, how have I contributed to this problem?
I think my very quick response to the last speaker, anyone who doesn't want us to point fingers to them should not run for office. They should just stay in their houses, run their private businesses. But politics and democracy is about accountability.
You hear the phrases, we're working tirelessly. We are trying, we'll work on that. But the proof of work is results. And if the results we are getting are extreme poverty, extreme unemployment, continued partisanship and sentiment and calls for violence, then it means that the people that we have given our power, we have ceded authority to, are not doing the job.
So my challenge to both the policymakers, the government officials that are in the room is, please stop commissioning boreholes. I mean, I think it's an insult to Nigerians. We're at that stage where, we see it and we turn off our TVs and our radios. We can't continue the way we are. We can't continue to do things the way we're doing them and expect that this country will grow. Thank you.
Now, I know that just women, about 100,000 women, and these are vulnerable, less privileged women in the rural areas who use these 3 stone, the traditional cooking method to cook. 100,000 of them die every year.
Thank God for the new administration. They've been able to come up with the economic recovery plan. This plan is now getting Nigerians to look into the agricultural sector, look into the mining sector, tap into it, develop it for export, develop it for growth, develop it for employment, and hopefully before the end of 2020, we'll be able to, reposition this economy to be an export-oriented economy, and I think that's where we should start from. Thank you.
Nobody's going to build Nigeria for us. We would build Nigeria, and we would move from where we are in terms of just hoping that it will be well, to us saying that I will make it well. And I think that if we follow suit in the dreams and aspirations that Osasu has displayed in bringing all of us together, then we can form a critical mass of people who believe in the ownership of the entity of this country and be able to do positive things that will move us forward. We are too donor dependent. We are too government dependent. Let's be us dependent, and that way we'll do better things.
Thank you very much. Can we be on our feet as we honor Nigeria by taking the national anthem?